Hey everybody, Sparky here coming at ya. It's okay, shit, doesn't mean. Uh, so on the last couple, not lives, but live chats I was in, they were talking about spirits and demons, and they were crossing the two, talking about witches, demonic, crossing the two, Wicca and witchcraft, and crossing the two. Uh, and stuff like that. And I put it a couple times as like, you can't lump them all together. They're kind of their own thing, including all the entities. And so I had a couple people, only a couple people, but I was like, well, if a couple people ask the question of why did I say that, and how do I break them down, I thought I'd make a little short vood out of it. So first off, when you're talking about religions like witchcraft, Wicca, because it is a religion, it's a lifestyle, just like most religions are. It's like most religions. A lot of people don't understand that because they're like, witchcraft is witchcraft, Wicca is Wicca. Witchcraft is more old school, and it's not the new age stuff. Kind of like Druidism. You have old school, and then you have neo-pagan Druidism, which is like today's stuff. They actually believe like a lot of different things. And in each one, they have different sects, if you will, kind of like Christianity, where you have multiple different churches, but they're all Christian, but they all believe just a little differently. Witchcraft and Wicca are the same way, and a lot of them go from like very nature to like they're just there to support nature. They do more prayers, if you will. What they do is more calling and asking for help, either for what's around them, for their families, for themselves, for their friends, that sort of stuff. So there is a big difference, and that's why I say you shouldn't lump them together. When you're saying like witchcraft is demonic, it's like not really. And I had one that was like it's satanic, and I'm like, you're kind of pushing your religion onto that because they don't believe Satan like Christians believe in Satan. It's a different thing, and they don't believe. A lot of the pagan religions don't believe like a Satan person. They have people like or things like that in their religion. Don't get me wrong, but they don't believe it makes you do bad stuff in every day. Like you can't blame him for bad deeds or bad thoughts or whatever. That's all of that's on you. That one is kind of like unless you get like controlled, possessed, something like that. That's everything else is on you. Where in other religions they think it's like where you're being guided or you did this because of whatever. So there's a lot of different differences, if you will, with all of that. That's just like skimming. So when we talk about entities, a lot of people are just like everything's demonic. If it's a spirit, it's demonic. If it's da da da. Even though the Bible says there are good and bad, it refers most to the bad of be careful of who you talk to, and you should not befriend an evil spirit. It does cover that in several verses, and then talks about other spirits and other verses of not being bad. So even the Bible, it kind of relates that there is good and there's bad. Now, when we talk about spirits, when I was like, you can't call them all demons, because in like our terms, that's like being racist. Like you're calling something the worst thing you could possibly call it because you just lump them all together.
You've got mail.
My phone's just going off. So if you believe in the paranormal and you believe in spirits and in the Bible and all that kind of stuff, you have to realize is like there is again a whole tier of really good, helpful, honest spirits, and then you have the really dark stuff. And when we say spirits, that is something that used to be human, and for whatever reason, it didn't want to move on. So it is around us. And there's like people ask me, is like, can you go anywhere and find spirits? It's like damn near. damn near. They're around. It's like they're not everywhere, but you could probably find them in your garage if it's an older garage or a roamer found it. A roamer is a spirit that doesn't have a home, so it didn't have an attachment to a house or a thing when it died, so it kind of moves around until it finds a safe space to go to. And I've had people ask me about the safe space thing. So if you believe in some of the old legends on spirits in native lore, you have soul traders and you have soul eaters, which actually go and accost spirits. Ones that just want to be left alone and they're trying to find a home. The reason why most spirits try to find a dwelling, a house, a building, a structure of some sort, because by old school rules, those two things I'm talking about cannot go in buildings unless they're invited in. So that's why you get a lot of things trying to hide in buildings, sheds, well huts, all that kind of stuff. So we have spirits that are human. Now you have nature spirits. Nature spirits are more of like cheap tree spirits and that sort of thing, which is a kinfolk to the Fae. It's just right up between, you have spirits, you have Fae. There's one in the middle of those two that we call nature spirits. So we have those, which are really hard to find. And then you have Fae. And then you move on, and then you have... So what people get confused if I say demonic, when we go from Fae to demonic have never been human. Fae are the same way. But Fae have their own rules. They have their own religion, if you will, of what they follow. Demons are more secular if they follow humans, and so they follow more of the human thing, but they've never been human. Those actually like to take control of other spirits in buildings or take claim to certain lands, that sort of thing. And then if you go beyond that, we have the old ones. And I've said that several times, and people are like, what are the old ones? There are several in that group. The most known one is elementals. They are extremely old. They have their own set of rules because they're like the badass on the block. If they decide, I'm going to claim this area and protect it, it'll draw more things there because that one thing will protect it. And they're kind of neutral to the point of they want their place to be safe, taken care of, blossoming, like, the foliage is going crazy, all that kind of stuff. They only get hateful if they find somebody who they feel, and again, this is a very, very old thing, disrespectful to their area, which could be, in our minds, minor. To their eyes, it's big. There are some that are kind of grumpy, nasty. Don't get me wrong. There's different ones for different elements. Water, fire, earth, air. And they all have their kind of different ways about them. There are other old ones, mind you, but we're not going to get into those because that gets really deep. So when people hear me talk about, it's like, don't lump them all together. This is what I'm talking about. So if I say I think it might be Fae, and I think it might be a goblin type in Fae. Now that's 1 out of 100 in the Fae realm, or more. Probably around 100, 150, like classifications, like races, right? Inside the goblin part of Fae, you have another like 30 or 40 different races inside that one area that all act different, from being really good to being really mischievous or being downright hateful and murderous. It's one of those where when I say you can't lump them together, it's like saying this white guy in the U.S. was an asshole, so I'm going to treat somebody in China or Africa or Poland the same way because I met one guy and they're all the same. Even though they have different skin color, they have different temperaments, they have different beliefs, they have different ways they interact with you. It's a lot. Hence why I was like, we should never lump things together. And I always say, I tell people, it's like, do not call something a demon unless you're damn sure it is one. You should get notice of that. They're extremely, they'll try to coerce you, but you'll have different smells, you'll have an odd feeling. There's a whole different vibe in the room. It can't hide what it actually pushes out off itself. It only can hide through its voice. So that's why I say it's like, be careful if you get that and you have all the clues, then challenge it to make it say it's like, no, I'm that, and then you can call it that. Again, because you don't want to call, a brownie a demon, because if you do, guarantee you he'll get pissed off and he will teach you what you think a demon will be. Because they're normally nice, but if you piss them off, they're mischievous as hell. Normally they're not, but you can make them that way by disrespecting them, and one way is to call them by a bad name. I hope that helps. I know a lot of people had questions about that. If you actually believe in spirits, that far, if you get into is like, I believe in cryptids, I believe there might be ghosts or whatever, like whatever you want to say, then you have to start looking at like little ones. That's more nature spirits. And that also crosses over into native lore. Those are more like elves, gnomes, stuff like that, which then cross into fae folk. Again, is very intertwined. It's very intertwined. It's like how close monkeys are to apes, how close apes are to us. Chipmunks versus marmots. I'm like, it's very close. And if you look at it like that, you can understand it. So if you think one is real, you think two is real, then it's time to open up and realize if you're actually going out there, remember, once you actually acknowledge you believe it's there, it's like a flashlight going up where people are like, oh, he's listening, he's trying to talk to us. That brings everything around that's around you. So you have to make sure you identify it correctly. And remember, a lot of these things do actually, especially the goblin types, they can change shapes, like shapeshifters, which is another offshoot between fae and old folk, and cryptid. It crosses all three, where they actually will try to show you what you're afraid of. Hence why I tell people, if Dogman is really popular right now, more people will see Dogman. If Chupacabra is more popular, they'll see that. And we have seen that through history where Chupacabra got really popular, and then we had a whole bunch of sightings, and then they died off. Dogman got popular, and all of a sudden now you have a lot of Dogman sightings, and they're all a little different. And then they die off. Mothman gets popular, we have a lot of sightings, but they're all a little different, and then they pull off. These things can change shape to tell you that is the scariest thing you're thinking of, and so I'm going to put it out there and make you go away. I know it's a lot, and it's a lot deep. It's hard to explain everything because it is really, you have to be into wanting to know of how you're contacting stuff and everything else to understand it fully. It's a hard... you have to pretty much say, I'm going to take a doctorate out in spirits and creatures and cryptids and entities. So I hope that helps. Everybody, please, don't feed the trolls. Get out there and research. Be honest. And most of all, have fun. I'll talk to you guys later.